Hey guys, Keith from Hellborn Games. I'm about to go into the Null Sector, and I just wanted to showcase a few of the items that can help you in the Null Sector. Mainly what I take in with me, and some of the things I use to buff. So first of all, I just want to show you some of the foods that I craft. So most important is water consumption reduction. So the fruit muffin's very good for that, minus 20 water consumption, and also gives you the maximum amount you can get on stamina, plus 225. Experience gained is pointless because if you're going in the Null Sector you'll already be at max level, so I don't think there's much point in that. But fruit muffin, an extremely good one. Okay, next one, the caramel berry tart. As you can see there, another minus 35% water consumption. And pretty good boost to stamina, and good if you're going to use bows. And there will be occasions when you want to go into caves in the Null Sector, so 15% chance to resist cave sickness is a nice bonus. Another one I take is the big breakfast because of the health boost. So obviously the creatures are quite dangerous. They can see you from a greater range. They seem to be able to, especially the Drax, they can see from quite a long way away now and aggro quite quickly. So that's always a good thing to have some health, and obviously additional health regen, and a bit more stamina, and the food consumption is useful as well in reduction. So that one's a very good one. So between the muffin 225 stamina and the big breakfast 225 health, you've got kind of very good boosts there, added to by the berry tart. And then if you've got the alteration, just having a look at this, so I've got the alteration on the armour of the Hearty 1 alteration, which gives you an extra space in your stomach. That allows you to have another buff, a fourth buff to your food. So and also of course the Hearty 1 gives you plus 10% food effects duration. So what I tend to do is use this honey mead, which gives you 100% additional stamina regen, which is awesome when you're running a lot of the time. Another boost to stamina, and plus 30% food effects duration. So if you drink that first and then eat the other three, you're going to have some serious boosts. So what I wanted to try and show you, I'm just going to get rid of some of these buffs. You can right click on your status effects to get rid of food buffs you don't want, by the way. So if you've accidentally eaten the wrong thing, right, come into your inventory, go down to this status effect and right click on it and get rid of stuff. So that's useful. So I'm going to drink that, and actually what I wanted to show you, just look in this section here. There's a bit here called upkeep. So you go into your this section here where you can see all your different buffs. If you can't see the full screen, there's a little button that you click on. You see here you've got all your stats and your damage and resistance. If you hit this show more, you can get into this, which tells you absolutely every little bonus you've got going on. And the bit you want to look at is the bit over here to the right. If you scroll right, there's lots and lots more, but if you go to the upkeep area, you can see oxygen consumption, food consumption, water consumption, right? So 720 per hour. I'm just going to see if that's, I'm assuming that's going to get affected by, so first of all, well, that won't affect it, but we'll drink that first. Right, so that's giving me my 30% of food effects duration. Then we'll see what minus 20 water consumption does to that 700 figure. So we'll consume the fruit muffin and then check the stats. So you see water consumption has reduced now from 760 to 540 per hour. So it reduces less per hour just from the muffin, which is minus 20. So now we'll try the caramel berry tart on top of that, which gives us another minus 35 water consumption. Okay. And go back to show more. And now it's 225 per hour. Now there is something else, and I just want to show you that. I'll just grab another thing I'm going to take into the Null Sector. and that is Gauss T. So Gauss T, which you can have on top of these things, can further reduce your water consumption by 25%. So you can consume that. And let's have another look. And now your water consumption is down to 0 per hour. So my test now is, if that's 0, that basically means I'm not requiring any water while I've got that buff. Now the only problem with that one is it's only 4 minutes long, that Gauss T. So it would be useful, I mean I don't currently have a slot for water, but I would put the Gauss T in my water slot, and that way you'd have that permanent buff until the Gauss T runs out. I'm yet to see if you can make a Gauss T using these giant water things you carry around. So I might actually try it. I might see if I can set that going now. Extremely heavy, but I do always take a water can in as well. So, but I'm trying to find ways of not having to do that. So I'll put that in and see if I can make Gauss T. Cooling, yeah. I can make cocoa. Let's get rid of those, see if it'll... Yeah, it looks like it's going to make cocoa. So I'll just stop that because I don't want cocoa in it. I actually want Gauss T in it, so I might have to go get some more gauze. But that's useful to know. So if you can make Gauss T out of that... Oh, there's some more gauze, look, right, let's make that. Let's get that going. Because what I want to do is pop into the... I'm going to pop into... It's really annoying how it grabs other things out of the inventory when you're trying to make stuff, but I've logged that as a ticket. Yeah, so we'll leave that cooking, making the Gauss T in the big water can. And that way you've got a ton of stuff, a ton of water, and a ton of those buffs if you need them. Right, I'm going to go in because looking at our thing, we've still got 0 water consumption per hour. So 0 times 500% that you get in Null Sector should theoretically still be 0. Anything times by 0 is 0 in maths. Or math, as the American like to call it. So we'll go in. So we've got, now look at that, water consumption has actually gone to 4,590 per hour. So although it's reduced all of your usual water consumption, so if you were to use those 3 or 4 buffs in the normal world, you wouldn't lose any water. But in the Null Sector, it's reduced it from what would probably be 5,200, 5,300 units per hour down to 4,500, which, you know, it's about 20% overall. So that's useful. It's better than nothing. So what I do now, what I'm going to do when I come in, I'm going to have that giant. I'm going to have the giant canteen of Gauss T in the G slot, and then I'll have some cooling water probably in the O slot. And what I can do is just alternate what I drink depending on the weather. So in the Null Sector, in the day it's red hot, and in the night it's really freezing cold. So you do need the two different drinks with you, ideally. I might do it the other way around. I might have the cool water in the big tank and the Gauss Tea in a small tank. As you've seen, obviously you can sleep if you find a cave and you've taken a bed and a fire with you can sleep to get rid of the night, so it's potentially shorter. Yeah. Okay, so that's your buffs. That's what the buffs I would recommend. Anything water consumption based, but obviously these are what I found the best because of the health boost and because of the stamina boost as well. Okay, so that's what I'm going to eat and drink. I'm going to take a full set of obsidian armor, which gives you the heat resistance and some cold resistance, and it also gives you a volcanic exposure resistance. And in addition, when you've got all 5 pieces, you've got the plus 15% critical damage, which you're going to need when you fight the creatures. So that's what I'm going to be wearing. And then at night, I've crafted myself a whole set of polar bear armour, which gives me the additional cold resistance, or a large cold resistance boost, and a perceived threat, which is, I didn't realise that's useful only in the Arctic. That also gives you 40 health regeneration and 10 physical resistance for wearing all 5. So I tend to keep the same. alterations on both armours, so it's the same when I'm swapping them over. Okay, now so far what I've seen are Drax and the same, so far the same creatures that you get in the normal volcanic area, you seem to get the same creatures in the Null Sector. They seem to be faster, but not a great deal more powered. Haven't seen any major bosses. I've seen some weird ones that have got like crystals sticking out the back, but they don't seem any harder to kill, and you get some exotic when they drop when you kill them. What else do I take? Okay, so if you're doing the first mission, you'll need the prototype trail beacons. It says craft 100, you're going to use more than 100, so you're going to need to craft. I think I haven't quite finished that first mission yet. I've been all over the place. I'd say I've probably used maybe 150 beacons so far. So I've crafted myself some bonus ones, and obviously you're going to need the prototype trail beacon tool as well. So you need the trail beacon tool and a ton of these trail beacons. So they are really heavy as well, 50 kilos each. So once you've got them in your inventory, plus your large water container, you can't carry a right lot else. Yeah, so that's the other things. I also take a fully stocked medical satchel, and there's a few other things you can do here. So there's another buff there, your sustenance enhancement tonic also reduces water consumption by 30%. So that's a useful one. You can add that. So let's see what that does. So let's just check what our stats were for water consumption. 225 per hour at the moment. As one of the buffs has worn off, that's why. So I'm missing the Ghost Tea. So let's just take the Ghost Tea, which should take us down to 0. So I want to see how it affects the stats. Yeah, so water consumption 0 per hour currently, and I want to go into the Null Sector, see what it goes up to because of the null effects. So just have to come around this corner through where the barricade is. That should be enough. Okay, it's applied the null effects now. That's that little extremely arid plus 500 water consumption, 500%. So that's taken us to 4,590 water consumption. And then I'm going to try one of these sustenance enhancement tonics. And then we'll go back in and have a look how that's reduced. And that's reduced it by another, 200, another 250, something like that. So that's now down to 4,300. Can't really think of anything else to do to reduce that, but that's a good 25%, 30% reduction in the utilisation of water, which can only help. The only problem is some of those things, of course, are quite short. So I think what was that, about 120 seconds or something on the sustenance, and only 4 minutes on the Ghost Tea. And of course, the Ghost Tea will make you warm as well. So if you're in the desert, you don't really want to be using that all the time. So I think they're really just optional. Use the Ghost Tea at night. If you're getting low on water, you could use the sustenance enhancement tonic. But other than that, the caramel berry tarts, the muffins, honey mead to extend the durations, really useful. And I always eat the big breakfast to give me that health boost as well. So what else do I take? I take weapons. So I take my Shenzong CZ4 bow. I'm currently seeing whether that's better or worse than the composite bow that you craft yourself with alterations. I don't really think it is. In fact, if anything, seems a bit weaker. So I'll probably be sending that back up to orbit and just getting my composite bow back. I use a miasmic knife, which seems to be quite good for close quarters, with additional 20% melee damage attachment enhancement. I use a trench shotgun with the additional 25% critical damage, so that obviously stacks with the 15% critical damage I mentioned before. Also hunting rifle with the additional 30% crit and 50% hardened point penetration, sniper 2 enhancement. And then the usual stuff, so a hammer, you don't really need to take this stuff, but I tend to take an axe pick and a sickle just in case I need to mine resources, but there's very few resources in the null sector anyway, so you probably won't be using that much. Finally, you can pick up some stuff and end up overburdened because you're carrying a big water container. Sometimes you end up overburdened. You can find exotic nodes, you mine it with your miasmic pick because you want the bonus exotic, and you end up overburdened. So I do carry these watermelon lollipops, which give you that minus 50% over encumbrance penalty, and that gives you enough to basically get back to base and get the stuff you want to get back to base. And I also, all the time, I have strawberry hard candy because that 25% movement speed, because the null sector is so big and there's a lot of running, it really makes a difference and really improve your quality of life. And of course you can escape from creatures much easier if you need to run. And then the final thing I take is the crispy bacon, and the only reason I take that is just for food. So if sometimes you run out, I mean you can't carry stacks and stacks, you don't have the weight, you can't carry stacks and stacks of these. So I tend to drink my honey mead, take one each of the food types, and then put them back in the freezer, and then I just use the crispy bacon to, as my food goes down, I just use the crispy bacon to top up my actual food, and that's what I've been doing today. Obviously cold steel ammunition for all three weapons is useful because most of the creatures you come across are from the volcanic region, so cold steel seems to be the best bet. Other than that, I think that's about it. Obviously, if you don't know already, scoria is the building material of choice in the volcanic region because it can't set on fire from lava, and you can actually build in the lava if you need to. You can support bridges with pillars if you need to. So I've built myself a nice little way across the lava using scoria. These are some of these. See some of the trail beacons. And then I'm making a little corner. But you can build just with in normal caves. You can build with thatch because there's no weather conditions in caves. So just build with thatch. Don't waste your resources. It never deteriorates in a cave. One thing I will mention is sometimes your prototype trail beacon. Sometimes when it says too far, right? And the reason it's saying too far isn't necessarily because it's too far. It's sometimes just because it's not linked. So you just need to go to a beacon that is linked, press E, link the beacon, and then you're able to place it again. So I noticed a bit of an error. That's my thing there. Yeah, there was a bit of an error. I couldn't work out. I'll just go into stealth mode. I couldn't work out why I couldn't place the beacon, and it was because I hadn't linked. So if you've placed your beacons and then come back, and it's saying too far all the time, and you think it's a bug, it's not a bug. You've just got to get your tool out, go over to the nearest beacon it doesn't really matter which beacon, you just go to the beacon, hit link. You can unlink them as well by accident, just be careful with that. It's the same, if you press E it unlinks. So just press E to link it, and then you can place your beacon again. So that's just a little tip. I'm not going to go any further to the null sector because there's a stone jar over there. There's something Drake thing over there, so I'm just going to leave that. There is quite a lot of mineable resources in this cave, but I've already mined them all. So I'm going to head back to base and get myself ready for finishing off this first quest. I'm about 79% through. They'll be putting down the trail beacons. Actually, I would have finished it, but there's actually an ice cave. I got myself into the ice area. It kind of becomes an ice area down here in J11. I got myself into a cave. I dropped down. I thought, I'll just use unstuck to get myself unstuck from the cave, and it actually ported me into the ice side right over in the normal map. So it teleported me out of the null sector onto the normal map, literally miles and miles away. So I was annoyed at that. So that's why I've not currently finished the quest. And I thought, well, I might as well just resupply now. The other thing is there's no, it's very difficult. You're not going to find wood or any basic resources over in the null null sector, so you really are going to need to take with you what you need. But your issue is really going to be carry weight. If you take enough water, you'll end up needing to take one of these, one of these things. So I think, let's check, has that worked? Yeah, so you can put hot drinks. That actually gives 25% water consumption. Oh yeah, the ghost tea. So yeah, you can put hot drinks in those big water cans. So that's quite useful. Which I didn't know, but you're not going to be able to carry more than one because they're 50 kilograms each. So you can see I'm already overburdened there just with what I've got. So you have to be quite, I'm going to have to be quite ruthless with what I take. I'll probably only take 100 of the beacons. That should do it. Put 100 of the beacons away and I'll be alright. Everything else should be able to take. But look, I've not got much weight to live with after that. So I don't need a sledgehammer in there. I don't need 2 axes, so I'll get rid of my amasmic axe. I'll keep my amasmic pick because you do find exotics, so I'll keep my amasmic pick because the caves in there do have exotic nodes in. Pretty much everything else I need to take. Don't really need explosive ammo, so I'll put that away. Oh, that's only 0.6 kilograms. So yeah, ammo for each gun, nothing else. I've got some extra health recovery tonics. I've also got yes, I'll put some in there. Just a bit of OCD. So I've got 2 lots in there, and I got and the reason I've got some health recovery elixirs is you do get quite a lot of exposure. So there's quite a lot of exposure in the null sector, so you can start to take damage and you can't get shelter. So the only way to do that is to have some health recovery elixirs with you. And that's good. I don't need an advanced mining scanner either. So I'm just now starting to whittle down. I want my cold gear. I'm going to eat them before I go and then put them away. I might just take them with me, to be honest, but it's just that they take so many resources to craft. You do waste. It's wasting them. You're going to lose half of them by the time you get back. Not my water. I need a cool water. So I'm going to swap that over, so I'm just going to get rid of that ghost tea out of that one. So empty these containers, and I'm going to put cold water in the big container because most of my time will be spent during the day. And I'm actually going to make ghost tea in my Darkwell Martinez canteen, because that's a heated canteen anyway. I don't know why that's not filling up. Oh, it's trying to fill the water can up first. So we'll have purified water in the can, and then we'll make ghost tea in the Darkwell Martinez. Plus 10 to temperature, 25. Take that back out. I hate the way it sucks all your water containers into the into the stove when you click that. So, and then we'll be good to go. So yeah, I think we'll leave it there. That's quite a lot of tips on the null sector. Hope you found that useful. Hope you like and subscribe. And thanks for watching Hellborn at Games. I'll see you all again soon.